Hello, I'm Janice, and I'm here at the Senior Center. I'm going to teach a class called Yoga for Strong Bones. And the purpose is to prevent fractures. As we get older, we're likely to fall and break bones. We're at higher risk for that. So there are 3 different causes of fractures in seniors. One is poor posture. So if you're rounded over like this, it's poor posture, and I'm exaggerating, of course. But when you round like that, it puts pressure on the inner surfaces of your vertebrae, and they get crushed and they can crack. And you don't want that to happen. So we work on posture in this class. And another cause of fractures is falls. And so we work on balance. And when you are stronger, your balance is better. We do poses that are specifically for balance and also some for strength. And the other is osteoporosis. So if you have osteoporosis, your bones are thinner and more brittle, and they break more easily. And exercise is supposed to help strengthen your bones. The 2 ways that works are working against gravity and muscle pulling on bone. So those are the kinds of things that we'll be doing in this class. You don't have to be perfectly flexible. You don't have to look like a model in a yoga magazine. Just do what's right for your body. If anything you do causes pain, just ease up until it doesn't hurt anymore. If I do a stance that's very stretchy looking, you don't have to stretch as far as I do. So let's go ahead and start with some breathing. We're going to do a breath called the Ujjayi breath. And it makes a sound kind of like Darth Vader. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it in the recording or not, but you know what Darth Vader sounds like. So you drop your jaw a little bit and slightly constrict your throat. And then you're just going to breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. And if you do it softly, it might sound like ocean waves. If you do it louder, it sounds more like Darth Vader. So you do it whichever way suits your needs at the time, and it can help strengthen you in some of the poses that we do. And if at any time you feel like you're straining to breathe, it's okay to open your mouth or just take a little break. So now we're going to come to a little physical practice. Start moving our bodies. So we're going to start with warming up our shoulders. And just in case you don't have a strap handy, just hold an imaginary strap in your hands. And we're going to inhale and raise that strap up. Maybe you use the Ujjayi breath. Exhale, bring it down. Do that about 7 times. And always keep it in your comfortable range of motion. About 2 more. And last one. And let go of your imaginary strap. And bring your hands behind your head. And just lace your fingers together if that works okay for you. If you need to have your hands a little wider apart, it's okay. This is a little posture exercise. You're going to take a breath, and on your exhale, without tilting your head, you're going to just press the back of your skull against your hands. Inhale, ease up, and exhale, press back. Keep doing that for a few more times. And I'm going to talk, or try to talk while I'm doing this. This kind of counteracts when we sit and look at our phone or our computer screen. We tend to bring our head forward like this. That's not good for our neck, so this kind of helps strengthen the back of your neck and improve your posture. So do a couple more rounds of that. And then we're going to warm up our lower body. So Make sure your feet can reach the floor. If you've got a tall chair, it's okay to put a block under your feet or a folded blanket. So first we're going to do a little heel and toe. Just lift your heels and then bring them down, lift your toes. And repeat that a few times, warming up your ankles. And then we're going to add a little bit of movement to that. So we're going to still heel and toe, but we're going to heel and toe our feet out wide and our knees widen out. Whatever amount is right for you. And then we're going to heel and toe back in. Heel and toe out again. And back in. And one more round. And then we're going to end up with our feet right in front of us. Get your heels just a little bit behind your knees. And press into your feet. Bring your hands forward. Take a breath. And we're going to stand up, trying to keep your spine long. Inhale up. And exhale, keep your spine straight, not rounding, come back down. 2 more like that. Last one. And pause for a breath. And we're going to come up and stay up. So come on up, and we're going to come to mountain pose. In yoga language, which is Sanskrit, that's called Tadasana. You stand with your feet about hip width apart, maybe a little bit less. When we say hip width, it's not how wide you are here. You want your feet right under your hip bones. So a rule of thumb is about 2 fist widths. If they're a little closer, that's fine too. So find that alignment. Get your toes pointing straight forward. So you don't want to be turning your toes out. Just point them towards the front of your mat. And then shift your weight a little bit onto your heels. And then press into the balls of your feet. Spread your toes and let them come down. And if you press your heel and the ball of your foot at the same time, you'll feel the arch of your foot rising. So you're engaging that muscle there under your arch. Make sure you don't lock your knees. I'm going to show you, this is locked knees. They're really tight here. We don't want that. Just loosen them up a little bit. And then you're going to lift your thigh muscles like you're trying to pull your kneecaps up. Pull the tops of your thighs back just a little bit. And then you're going to lift your abdominal muscles. Your tailbone may drop a little bit. Don't exaggerate it. Just let it drop a little bit. And then lift your heart. Stand up nice and tall. And just hold it and breathe a few breaths. Mountain pose is a balancing pose, and it's also a resting pose. It's also a posture pose because you're getting yourself in nice, good alignment. So ideally, I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. Your ear should be right over your shoulder right over your hips, and then draw a line through your knee and down to your ankle. And that's correct alignment. And I don't know whether mine's quite right or not, but get as close to it as you can. Okay, from Tadasana, we're going to do upward hands. So bring your hands up and imagine you're trying to reach something on a really high shelf. Reach up. Take a breath or two. And bring your hands back down. Pause in mountain pose again. And we're going to come up and we're going to add a challenge to it. We're going to come up on the balls of our feet. Now, if that doesn't work for you, you can just stay with your feet flat on the ground like we did the first time. But inhale, reach up for that high shelf. Come up on the balls of your feet if you can. Focus on something that's not moving. Maybe a little wobbly, it's okay. Just hold it for a few breaths. And bring it on down. It's okay if you wobble, if you have to shift your feet around to catch your balance, it's okay. That's actually good practice for catching yourself if you start to fall. Let's see. We're going to do a wide leg fold, and I'm going to turn my chair around so you can see what I'm doing. Because we're going to use the chair for some support in a wide leg fold. So we're going to step our feet wide apart, and how wide you step them is up to you. You should feel a gentle stretch in your inner thighs, but you shouldn't feel anything painful. Try to point your toes forward, again, instead of letting them turn out. Make sure you're not locking your knees. Drop your tailbone, pull your abdominal muscles up. Stand nice and straight and tall, and we're going to hinge right there where the thigh and the hip join. We're not going to roll down from the waist. We're going to hinge with a flat back hinging at the hips. So you exhale down. When you're ready, put your hands on the seat of the chair. Lengthen from head to tail. And maybe reach your hands forward for a little bit more stretch. And just hold it for a few breaths. And to come up, bring your hands a little closer to you. Bend your knees generously. If you need to heel toe your feet closer together, you can. And then come up leading with head and shoulders. Step your feet back into mountain pose. And I'm going to get that chair out of the way for a moment. And we'll do a warrior two. That's one of the classic yoga poses that you might see in pictures. And you'll see the models with their feet way apart. You don't have to get them that far apart. So you're going to stand, if you have a mat, you're standing facing the long edge of your mat. If you're just on a rug or something else in your house, that's okay too. You're going to step your feet apart, maybe this wide, maybe that wide. Ideally, the length of one leg, but if that hurts and stretches too much, just bring your feet closer together. Turn your left foot in. I'm going to mirror you and turn my right foot in. Turn your left foot in. Turn your right foot out at 90 degrees. And your left foot's just turned in a little bit. You put your hands on your hips and see if they feel like they're level. My right hip feels higher than my left, so I'm going to try to shift my hips till my right hip and left hip are about the same height. And I'm going to press into my back heel. And I'm going to press into the blade of my back foot. I'm going to press into the heel of my front foot and the ball of my front foot. Spread my toes. And I'm going to drop my tailbone, tucking it in. Just kind of curl your tush under a little bit. Lift your abdominal muscles from the pelvic floor up. And then bend the knee until your knee is right over your ankle. Stand nice and tall. Make sure you still have the feet connected. Engage your thigh muscles, front and back. But this leg too. Check on your tailbone tucking under, your abdominal muscles lifting. Then bring your hands up to your shoulders. And to finish the pose, we're going to reach our arms out. And get your fingertips as far apart as you can. Gazing over the fingers of your front hand, that's your right and my left. Make sure your knee hasn't caved in. A lot of knees like to do that, but keep it pointing towards your little toe side of your foot. And then your gaze should be over your left or your right hand. If that bothers your neck, you can look forward and just hold it and breathe. When we hold the poses for an extended period of time, that helps build the bone density. Remember, muscle pulling on bone, working against gravity, we got that going. It takes about 10 seconds for those processes to start building bone tissue, and the processes continue working for about a minute after that. So ideally we'll hold it for maybe 30 seconds, but if you need to rest, it's okay. Another breath or two if you can. And then bring your arms down and just turn your feet. So the other foot's going to turn in. So your right foot and my left. Your left foot's going to turn out. Check your hips, see if they feel like they're level. If one feels lower, just try to lift it up. Press into the heel and blade of your back foot and the heel and the ball of your front foot. Spread your toes, that's going to help you balance. Tailbone tucks under, abdominal muscles lift, and then you're going to bend that front knee, get it over the ankle, pointing towards the little toe side of your foot. Check and make sure that that back leg is still engaged, working the thigh muscles, these two, both legs. Tailbone still tucked in, abdominal muscles lifting, standing nice and tall. Bring your hands up to your shoulders and then reach out, extending your arms. And here we are in our warrior two. Again, you're gazing over the fingertips of your left hand, but if it bothers your neck, just look forward. or somewhere in between. Hold it and keep breathing. Maybe you can find the Ujjayi breath here. Hang on for a few more seconds. And then bring your arms down and turn your feet back to center and walk them in a little closer together. Got to look at my cheat sheet a moment. Warrior 3. Oh, what fun. We're going to do a balancing pose here. And how deep you go into it is up to you. But I'm going to put my chair on the mat, and I'm going to have it where I can put my hands on the back of the chair. And I'm going to take a pretty big step back from the chair. And I'm going to have my feet a few inches apart, and the toes are turning slightly out this time. Step your right foot forward with the knee bent. Put your hands on the back of the chair. And you're going to just gradually shift your weight into that right foot, letting your left heel come up. Right knee is still bent. Get those muscles working to support you, because we're going to come up on that right leg. And when you're ready, lift your left leg behind you. Heel is reaching back. Try not to rotate that hip like that. Keep the hip down to knee and toe pointing towards the floor. Get your weight concentrated on that standing leg. Find something to focus on that's not moving. And then experiment with releasing one hand. Bring it back in and release the other hand. If you feel steady enough, you can try releasing both hands. You might get a little wobbly. It's okay. Grab the chair anytime you need to. Don't forget to breathe. It's called Warrior 3, and you can feel a lot of parts of you working against gravity here. Bring that foot down and come on out of it. Shake it out a little bit, take a breath. And we're going to do the other side. So you're going to be a step back from the chair again. Feet a little bit apart, toes turning out. Take a step forward with the left foot this time. And you're going to put your hands on the back of the chair, shift your weight into the left foot. Your right heel is coming up. Get the heel and the ball of the foot engaged there with the floor, and spread your toes. Engage your thigh muscles. When you're ready, begin to lift your right leg. Heel comes up. Heel is reaching back. Trying to keep your hips level, so your knee and toe are pointing down. And then when you're ready, try releasing one hand. Try releasing the other hand. Make sure your weight is fully supported on that standing leg. See if you can release both hands. Focusing on something that's not moving. If you're wobbly, it's okay. Just grab the chair. And I'm wobbly on this side. That's okay, though. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shift your weight back and come on out. Step it out, shake it out a little bit. And we're going to do a spinal twist next. Let's see. I guess I can do it facing this way. You're going to use your chair as support, or if you have a wall handy, you could use a wall. So stand with one side facing the chair. Step one foot forward and the other foot back. The back foot should be the one that's closest to the chair. And then you're going to get those legs engaged, pressing into the back heel and the ball of the back foot this time. Front heel, ball of the front foot. Right now your hips are facing forward, but we're going to change that in a moment, because we're going to do a spinal twist. So tuck your tailbone, lift your abdominal muscles, lift your heart. This hand that's nearest is on the chair. Bring the other arm up. And then use your abdominal muscles to turn your body towards the back of the chair. Let your hips, your front hip rotate in towards your back hip. So you're kind of squeezing your hips together. And here we are in a spinal twist. Legs are straight. Thigh muscles are engaged. Tailbone still tucking. With each inhale, you're lengthening, getting taller. Exhale, tuck. Use your abdominal muscles to turn your body. Keep breathing. Couple more breaths. And then you're just going to turn your feet towards the chair to come out of that. Maybe you shake it out a little bit. And then we'll get ready to do the other side. So you're just going to turn your feet around. And they're just kind of on separate tracks, but just maybe a 1 fist width between your heels this time instead of quite as wide as they were before. So press into your back heel and the ball of your back foot. Spread your toes. Front heel, ball of front foot. Spread your toes. Engage your thigh muscles, lifting kneecap, lifting the back of the thigh too, especially this back leg. Tailbone tucks under, abdominal muscles lift. This hand's on the chair, this hand's going to come up. And then we'll exhale and turn, using your abdominal muscles to turn your ribs and shoulders toward the chair back. You can turn your head any amount that's comfortable, but it's fine to keep it in line with the front of your chest. Because this is not a neck twist, it's a spinal twist. Take a few breaths. See if you can smooth out your breath. Let your shoulders be relaxed. Lengthening upward with your inhale, exhaling your abdominal muscles help you twist. And then slowly unwind, turn your feet towards the back of the chair and step out of that. We're going to stretch our hamstrings next. And this can be a little bit challenging for your balance. So do what you can. And I'm going to show you some options here. So we're going to stand facing the seat of the chair and a little bit of a step away from it. And use the chair to steady yourself if you need to. Put your heel up on the chair and let your ball of your foot rest on the chair back. This is safer if you do this with the chair against a wall, but I don't have a wall handy, so I'm going to do the best I can. It may also be nice to have the chair in a corner where you have a hand in the wall and the chair back on the wall. Okay, so here I am. I'm going to put my weight in my back heel. Engage those thigh muscles, make them nice and strong. And this should be feeling a stretch in the back of your thigh. If your hamstrings are really loose, you may not be feeling the stretch yet. Here's what you're going to do. Try this. And if that's too much for you, you can find some props to put on your chair, maybe a stack of books or something, and you'll have an in-between height. If you have a really tall chair, you might need to find something lower. And we're just going to hold that for maybe 30 seconds. And my sense of time is not working very well today. And to come out of it, bend your knee, use some support, bring your feet down. Okay, let's get ready for the other side. So again, you're going to put your weight on that standing leg, get it nice and strong. Use a little support to bring your foot up here or the back of the chair, whatever's best for you. When you feel steady, come to standing nice and straight and tall. Weights in the back heel. You could bring your arms out to a T, that'll help your balance a little bit. And again, if you want a little bit more stretch, bring your foot up higher. I don't think I'm going to fool with it right now because I'm feeling a little wobbly, just being here in this unsupported position. And you can even add a little spinal twist to it if you're feeling really brave. This chair is shaking under me, and I'm not going to do too much here. So it is important to have a little something to steady that chair. And let's hold that about 30 seconds. We're probably about halfway there. And then hold on to something as you bend your knee and bring it out. Shake your legs out. Okay, let's do a little back bending. So straddle your chair. You're facing the back of the chair, just sit straddling the back of the chair and facing the back of it. You're going to put your hands on the top or the sides of the chair back. And just tilt your tailbone, tuck it under a little bit, curling a bit, and then tilt forward, arching a little bit. Do that 2 or 3 times. And see if you can feel your sitting bones under you as you rock back and forth on them. And then I want you to find the center of your sitting bones. And you're going to tuck your tummy in, drop your tailbone down, down, down. And then you're going to lift your shoulders, roll them back, and lift the front of your chest. And we're in a little back bend. Bend as deeply as is right for you. So some people are going to be like this, and some people are going to be like that, which is too much for me. You should not feel a pinch in your low back. If you do, 2 things to do that help, or maybe 3. Tailbone reaching way down intensely, lifting your abdominal muscles. And if it's still pinching, you're leaning back too far. And then once you get in the right spot, keep those muscles engaged and keep breathing. And slowly come out of that. When we were doing the spinal twist and when we're doing the back bone bend, you have a little bit of muscle pulling on bones, so that's helping strengthen your bones. And finish up the bottom. Okay. Let's move the chair out of the way, but not too far. And come down on your mat. Or if you're doing this at home, you could do the last part of this on your bed. So if you're getting down on the floor, put your best foot forward, bend that knee, put your hands down, and then come on down with your hands supporting you. And have a seat. And I'm going to slide that over a little bit. We're going to do a Locust Pose, which is another back bend. And it feels good to have a little support under your hips especially. If you're doing this on the bed, it's especially important to have some support under your torso because that compensates for the softness of the mattress. So you might have it lengthwise, especially if you're on the bed. Could be crosswise if you're on the floor. And I'm going to come down so that my hips are on the mat, on the blanket. My legs are hanging off. Maybe my pubic bone's hanging off a little bit. Just about the hip joint comes onto the blanket. And then you're going to reach your arms back. Reach your feet back. Reach your tailbone towards your heels, tucking it as far as you can. And let your abdominal muscles engage. Lift your shoulders towards your ears and then roll them back. Let your head and shoulders come off the mat. They may come up just a tiny bit, that's okay. If you feel a pinch in your low back, come on down. Try it again. Tailbone reaching way down. Abdominal muscles lifting, engage your thigh muscles so your legs are lifting a little bit. And then you bring your shoulders up to your ears, roll them back and down, and you come up off the mat. Maybe not that much, it's okay, 1 inch is fine. Hold that for a few breaths. Keep that tailbone reaching way back. And then come on down. Turn your head to one side and take a little breather. And then put your hands under your shoulders and push yourself up onto hands and knees. And we're just going to arrange our blanket to get ourselves comfortable for a little rest. So I like to fold the blanket lengthwise, but you can do whatever makes you comfortable. And I'm going to put it on the mat. And my head is going to be up here, my waist is going to be about here, and my legs are going to be down there. And I don't think I'll use the chair. So I'm going to sit about hand width between my bum and the blanket. And I'm going to use my hands for support as I roll onto my back. And then I'm going to take that blanket right under my neck and just tuck it a little bit, make a little fold to support my neck. And bring my arms out to the side. Bring your feet to the corners of the mat. And just get comfortable and rest and breathe. Now I want you to stay there and rest and breathe. I'm going to sit up so I can talk better. This is the beginning of the conclusion of our practice. It's always important to end with a little rest. 5 minutes is a good amount of time to spend in resting. It's called Savasana in yoga speak. And that gives your body a little time to relax, let go of the tension of the muscles that you've been working, get the blood flowing so that your muscles can restore themselves and strengthen. So just let go of all tension. Maybe start with your eyes, let them go soft. Let the muscles of your face soften. Put a little gap between your top teeth and your bottom teeth to relax your jaw. Invite your neck to relax. Let your shoulders melt downward. Let your ribs and abdominal muscles move freely with your breath. No, don't force anything, just allow the movement. Let your belly be soft. Invite your hips to relax. Allow your arms and legs to feel heavy. And then just focus on your breath. Not forcing anything, just noticing how you're breathing. You've been exerting yourself. You might be breathing a little fast right now, but notice how your breath is going to calm itself in a few moments. Just continue relaxing and breathing, and I'll give you a cue when I'm ready to bring you out of that. Begin to deepen your breath a bit. Start making some gentle movements with your fingers and toes. And gradually make the movements a little bit larger, maybe circling your wrists and ankles. Might hug a knee in towards your chest, and then the other knee. Maybe rock your knees from side to side a little bit if that feels good. And then roll over onto your preferred side in a fetal position. Pause there for a couple of breaths. And then push yourself up slowly. Come up from the side rather than trying to pop up. After you've gotten nice and relaxed, you don't want to suddenly engage your muscles to come up. So just push yourself up slowly. Find a comfortable seated position. Maybe crisscross. And then just let your abdominal muscles gently support you. And we're going to bring our palms together in prayer position. Let them connect with your breastbone. And pause for a moment. Maybe think about something that you're grateful for today. Let your chin drop to your chest. And bring your hands forward. Keep the heels of your hands together. Thumb and pinky stay together. Open your fingers in a cup shape. This is called a lotus mudra. So your fingers are supposed to look like a lotus flower. And it also is supposed to be, this mudra is supposed to be connected to your heart. In the tradition of the Eastern cultures, the lotus flower is considered as a very beautiful flower, which it certainly is, but that they're aware that it grows out of the filth and muck at the bottom of the pond. So something really beautiful grows out of that mess. And that is the legend of the lotus flower. Curl your fingers in to close your flower, and I greet you. Thank you for practicing with me. Bring your palms back together and bring them to your forehead. The light in me greets and honors the light in you. Namaste. And let me show you how to get up before we disconnect, okay? So to get up from sitting on the floor, come to whichever, your best foot forward again. Put your hands on the mat. Push down and lift your hips and bring your feet under you. And then push yourself up, pushing the floor away from you. And we're done.